All right, YouTube, Repo Man 64. This cold, it got worse. I thought it was over with a couple days ago, 3 days ago when I made the video, but it got worse. I didn't sleep at all last night. I was coughing all night long, and Flonase changed the formula, and the one I bought didn't work. So I had to go out and find one of the old formula ones that like still smelled like roses. And I finally got that today. So at least I'm somewhat clear. I'm going to go on and I'm going to complete the video. But what I will do is if I go into a coughing spree that I can't control, I will pause it and then come right back. You won't know the difference, but I will. All right. I'm going to go through some pictures. This 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 has become a huge pet peeve for me. A jubilee is every 49 years, but a jubilee is on the 50th year. And the reason I can say that is because that's what it teaches in Leviticus. The cycle is 49 years, but the Jubilee and the first year of the 49 Jubilee cycle share the same year, much like the monk that created BC AD should have done for BC AD was share that A the BC and AD year. That year should have been both BC and AD. They should have overlapped like that. Going backwards and going forwards, they should have matched. And I keep hearing channels say a Jubilee is 50 years. It is, but you're not understanding what you're saying. And then they go off to do math by 50 years. And the answer is no. The math is by 49 because the 50th year shares the first year. So I want to show that to you real quick. Um, I'm still looking at December the 8th. As we get closer to the first day of Hanukkah on December the 8th. I know the universe says it's another day, but they don't use a static calendar. They use the moon, and that was implemented in 400 BC by King Antichrist or King Antiochus. And it really messed things up. And when he did that, they just implemented the moon over and over again. And teachers of timelines, which I'm not saying anything, but teachers of timelines that are using the moon to set anything up probably shouldn't be doing timelines and should do the back and forth studies that they do that they're very good at. But they probably shouldn't be searching the Bible. I mean, I wish they would search the Bible because if they did, they would recognize that the moon, while it was correct before the flood, it went around the earth 364 days a year. Once the flood occurred, it went awry. It went out. It's 354, and I challenge. I mean, it's just common sense. It blows my mind. It's 354 days a year. The moon takes a complete its 12-month cycle. How are you at 354? You're 10 days short. I don't understand how they use it, but so I want to go in and explain this real quick for those of you who are listening to my channel and those other channels who are attempting to do timelines and calendars and explain this side of it. And again, it's not going to save them I'm not saved because of this. I feel like the Holy Spirit has led me through all of this, and timelines and dates and everything I have found in the Bible fall absolutely perfectly. And they can't do the same thing. They'll take a snippet of time, but then they'll throw that one away and start a whole new snippet. Since 6 years ago, I've been telling you, I don't know when the rapture is, but hey, let's take a look at this date because it's a mathematical equation that says this date fits this, this, and this. And so let's watch it for a high watch day. I don't know currently when the rapture is, aside from the numbers for December the 8th are off the charts. They're off the charts. They're huge. And so it's something that we should be taking a look at. And here's the thing, as we get closer to the actual rapture and when it's going to happen, you'll start to see things ramping up out of control. It's like a motor that it's got a knock in it, and people keep driving it, and they just keep pumping oil into it while it's dumping it out. They'll keep putting oil into it, but eventually it's gonna where's that possible? I want to make sure I can do that. Eventually it is going to seize, but not before it makes a bunch of noise. And that's what we're in. We're in the knocking engine point. We're dumping oil into this thing. We're we are dumping oil into this thing, trying to keep this motor running, but it's going to seize. It's about to blow up. So as we get closer, the knock is going to get louder, and it is going to seize. The moment of seizure is the moment of the rapture, and that is about to happen. And like I've said to anybody who's like, I can't watch anymore. I mean, it doesn't save you to watch or not watch. We're watchmen on the wall. All of us are, including those that think a Jubilee is 50 years apart. They're giving you their best scenario of when the rapture is going to occur, and I don't deny them that. That's fantastic. Do that, um, because there's a lot of us who, and when you see something coming, right or wrong, you got to say something. It didn't say that in Ezekiel that we had to warn. Look, somebody's that watchman on the wall in Ezekiel. Somebody's coming. The army comes out. They all get their bow and arrows and everything. They're ready to go to war, and it just turns out to be the mailman. Oh, okay, go back, and then somebody else is coming, and then all the army comes out, and then after a while, the army's like, take your time. It's probably nothing, and then it's not. It's the enemy, and that's why we do what we do, not to hype you up or make you um, nervous about the event, but to warn you it's coming. Yeah, that was the mailman. The last date was the mailman. Sorry, I couldn't see. It was so far away. We look through a glass darkly. We don't know. But we're trying to figure it out, and we're bringing you our best understanding of that. And so that's all I'm doing. So let me get here to share the pictures right here. There we go. All right. Now, if I wanted to pause this thing, how do I do it? Oh, it's no, where that's trash. I don't want to do that. Do I do this? No, I don't know how to do that. Hmm. Okay. I don't know how to pause it from this window. I guess I just have to stop sharing and then pause it. Okay. Because I don't want to just go into it. I'll start coughing in it and I won't be able to stop for a few minutes. All right. Real quick, just so you understand, I'm not trying to change the mind of the person that believes it's every 50 years. Forget about this. Forget about the word Jubilee being here. Let's call it, let's call it the day I buy shoes day. And I do it every 49 days. This here is a 49. This is a Jubilee cycle. There's not one, there's not a Jubilee down here by itself and then another 49 cycle start. That would be silly. That wouldn't make any sense at all. You'd have 49-year block and then one, and a 49-year block and then one. I'd love to see somebody build this right here doing exactly that. This is buy your shoes day. It happens on this day. And then 49, that's a really good shoe. You'd only have to buy maybe two pairs of shoes in your whole life. So, but here we are 49 years later, and the new block comes up here and starts, and it's called a Jubilee. The 50th year shares the first year. That's why God set it up that way in the book of Leviticus. Go in there and read it. In the 49th year, you're to blow trumpets. That's why trumpets were blown here and on August the 23rd in what we call 2025. It's actually, I might even lose my voice. It's actually 2024 that we're in right now. It is not 2025, it's 2024. And so the year will change over on March 17th. That will become the Jubilee or Buy Your Shoes Day. It will also be the first year of the next 49-year block, which is why we can say the Jubilee, in fact, does happen on the 50th year every 49 years. And it is confusing, but if we rename this word Jubilee with something else, it would make total sense because people are like, oh, yeah, every 49 years and the 50th year is the first. That's the first year you're going to be wearing those shoes. It's the 50th year because this is 49 down here. And then this is the 50th year. In the 50th year, you're going to wear these shoes. But it's also the first year you're going to wear them. Your other shoes you wore for 49 years and you got a new pair of shoes. And then you're going to wear these shoes for the first time in the first year. And we'll call it a new shoe year, a Jubilee year. It's 49 years. People keep going, well, let's see, give man 120 years times. It's not that simple. If it were that simple, we all could have figured out the rapture day. It is not that simple. The math is not that simple. You don't have to be a mathematician to understand that. To me, that's as simple as it can be. But I don't know. Maybe there's people that just don't understand that. This is the next 49-year block. It begins right here. This is it. This is where it begins. It's the 50th year. You got a pair of shoes. 49th year ended. Here's the 50th year. You got a pair of shoes. For that matter, if you wanted to count it that way, this is the 50th year. You get down here, it's the 51st year when you get up to here, right? It's not. It's the first year of the Jubilee. You don't count it that way. That's not how Leviticus tells us to count it. So currently, we are in the Sabbath spoken of by Kaduri and Shoshone. This is the Sabbath year, 2024. This is the year that they blew trumpets in August 23rd. But because of this same exact problem right here with not overlaying the 50th year with the first year, sharing that first year, we have this same exact problem. Let me see if I can find it for you guys real quick. Oh, that might be hard to find. Where's it at? Is this it? No. Is this it? No. I built so many timelines. There it is. So when we're talking about a 0 year, and I say, oh, they put a 0 year, this is how you imagine it. You actually imagine a 0 year where there's 5 BC, 4 BC, 3 BC, 2 BC, 1 BC, a 0 year, 1 AD, 2 AD. And that's what you imagine when you hear it. But when you hear it, this is actually what happened. This is actually a 0 year right here, where 1 BC ends, and then instead of you going from 5 BC this way, 4 BC, 3 BC, 2 BC, 1 BC, 1 AD comes this way to this. You understand? We went from here down to here. 1 AD went from here up to here. You have this year right here. You still have to compensate. The only way to fix it is to call BC and AD in the same year. So it is 10 years, but it shares the same block right here on number 5. So there's 4 years before and 4 years after. It's a total of 9 blocks, and the 5th block shares BC and AD. That way you go this way, and then when you're coming back, you go there, and that's how it works. This is no 0 year. This is 0 year. This is what you imagine a 0 year means. This right here is no 0 year. And the same thing happens with the Jubilee count. They continue to count it as 50 years. It's not. You count it by 49. You count it by 49. We are currently in the 49th year of the 7 times 7 Shemitah cycle block. Coming March 17th will be the, where'd it go? Right here. Come March 17th, get rid of that, enlarge that. At the end of this, we're going to start a new block. Not only is that the first year we're going to use up, but it's also the 50th year we're going to use up. You see what I'm saying? You wouldn't count 51 here. No, it's only a Jubilee is of 50. So hopefully I clarified that. I don't know how else to articulate it to make it super clear. Stop counting by 50. I give man 120 years, counted by 50 at 6,000 years. That's absolutely the most laziest math like ever. We're in the year 5784 right now. We are in the year 6027 from creation. And if you divide that by 49, it's the 123rd Jubilee. And they blew trumpets on August 23rd here, heralding in the Jubilee that would begin here on March 17th. However, we can't be here. The two witnesses must witness for 1,260 days. And we're currently eating into that time. We're currently eating into the amount of time that they have to do their witness. So their witness is that long. We don't know if they're here after Satan goes in to proclaim himself to be God, and that the first order of business is to kill the two witnesses. We don't know how all that works. So I don't know exactly when to begin the two witnesses. I do know it's 1,260 days long. I do know that we're running out of time real estate here, so it has to be coming up soon. Like I said, once again, I did the block count. I did the block count right here. 49 years. Each one of these blocks is 49 years apart. 49, 98, 147, 196, 245. These are all 49 years apart. The following year, we'll share the first year of the next block, and it will be 50. 50 will be 39, 53. See what I'm saying? It would be easier to explain down here. This block ends 6027, which is 2024. 2025, which begins on March 17th. I know you think we're in 2025, but we're not. Begins on March 17th. The block will be 6028. I mean, the beginning of the block, the beginning of the next 49-year block, and that will be 2025. We are in the 49th year right now. And if you read Leviticus, it's 23 or 25, you blow trumpets in the 49th year, heralding in the Jubilee, which is the 50th year. This is the 49th year. This is the 50th year. I hope that straightforward explanation helps some of you to understand that when you hear somebody counting by 50s, their math is completely erroneous once they do that. It just doesn't work. Likewise, if they're using the moon to start the month, their math won't work. They're all telling you that I did some math for you right here. 4,000 all right. 4,000 years minus 32. Why did I do that? I have no idea. I had a point when I did this because I heard somebody say it. 4,000 years. Jesus came here exactly to the year 4,000 years from creation. That is a different math. That is the math that God put forth. A day is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is as a day. That is 4,000 years. Let's go back here and take a look at when Jesus was here. Jesus was here. He came here in 4,000 from creation. 4,000. The closest we get is 4,018, but he came here in 4,000, which to us, because of the miscount on the calendar, is 3 BC. It's a mathematical. It's not an emotion or everybody else's fuzzy math. It is 3 BC. That's when Jesus was born. He was born on September 30th of 3 BC. Now, because there's no BC or AD in this count, I simply had to count by 49-year blocks. There's no BC or AD here. Jesus was neither born in a Jubilee year. When he was 12 years old, he was 3 years from, this is the 49th year. So I apologize. I'm going to try to get through this. He was 12 years old when he went into the temple. The Jubilee is the next year after this. So in 16 AD is it would have been 4 years after he went into the temple. 4 years after he was 12, he was 16 years old during the Jubilee. 16, 16 and a half. He would have been 16 and a half years old during the Jubilee. Then he went to the cross when he started his ministry. None of that happened in a Jubilee. People keep saying it happened in a Jubilee. Jesus, Jubilee. No, he's going to complete or fulfill the Jubilee, but he didn't come here to do that. When he came here to die for the sins of the world. That's the only thing that his mindset was at that time. It wasn't taking over or pulling all the humans off the planet at that time. His idea or his goal, is only fixated um, mindset at that time was to pay for the sins of the world. And all you have to do is believe on him. That's all you have to do. It's the easiest thing in the universe, yet it's the hardest thing because they add so much to it. If you if you are not saved right now, go to a quiet place. I'm not even kidding. Go to a quiet place and say some, just anything, unintelligible prayer, whatever comes to your heart. Even tell him, I don't know who you are. I don't even know if you exist. I've never had an encounter with you. I hear all these people talking, but they're whack jobs. If you're real, I want something personal for me, just for me. Prove to me that you love me, that my name was on your lips when you died on that cross, just for me and me alone. Go do that for me. Show me something. And he will. I 100 million% guarantee that Jesus will reveal himself to you in a way that you can't deny if you say a prayer like that. Not if you go out and get baptized and start being good and stop sinning and all this other garbage that people add in there. That's what drives me. That's why there's so many tribulation saints that will be left here, because they have no clue what true salvation is. And that is the raw salvation that is Jesus Christ, that comes with nothing other than Jesus Christ and what he did on that cross. That's all it is. And everybody keeps just bringing all this other stuff in. You got to build a YouTube channel. You got to know the Bible forward. I'm chosen out of 8 billion people to understand the Bible better than anyone. I know I'm saved, and all my people who are listening to me are too. It's the most ridiculous. That's works. That's works. You're going to be left behind. You're going to stay right here, and you're going to be saying, but Lord, I knew the Bible better than everyone. Me and my posse knew the Bible. I got to stop on that subject. It's a very important subject to me because I think everybody that finally comes to their lowest point in their life, that has worked and worked and worked and worked their whole lives and have failed time and time and time again. God has put you through failure, and you know you did. You know you failed over and over until finally you get to that point where you just cast your hands up and you say, I can't do this, Jesus. I can't do any of this. All I can do is rest on you. You are my only hope because I am a failure at all of this, at life, at all of it. And when you get to that point, welcome to being a bride. Now you are finally a bride. But before that, you were a worker of salvation. All right. Oh, oh, it feels so rough. I think what I was doing, 3968. What is 3968? Let me try to find it. It's not anywhere on here. I think I was doing that 50-year math for somebody, And I said, it's not on here. These are 49-year blocks. These are undeniable 49-year blocks. If you go anywhere other than this right here, if you're trying to take the 33 years out for Jesus, or you think Adam was in the garden for 35 years, 33 years, and you're trying to deduct it from that, go do your 49-year blocks after that. If you're doing 50-year blocks, I can't help you. There is no helping you get to the right timeline. Oh man, this is rough. I did not sleep at all last night. I was up all night long. It was so bad. And I had to work all day today, and I have to go to work tomorrow. Oh my goodness. Why didn't I have a PayPal? Just kidding. I have never accepted a dime. I will not. I've got this, I have this imagination that every time I won't accept a dime from you guys, because I mean, and I have to clarify this. There are people who do great things with that money. Bob, I was just listening to Chris from Global Rapture Watchers. Man, that guy's incredible what he's doing. I wish I was involved in something like that. That's incredible. People send him thousands, not just a few Bibles, thousands. And then somehow I wouldn't know three people that ask me for a Bible, but somehow people are contacting him. I need a Bible. Oh, I need a Bible. He's feeding some people that because of that SNAP stuff that was shut off. People were getting their food, needy people that actually need it, not the criminals who are breaking the system, but the actual people who needed it. He's got money coming in, and he's feeding them. That guy right there, I hope I get to sit next to him at the table. Well, and that's awesome. Of course, Jesus is the one that gets the glory, because Jesus is the one that has put that on his heart to do that, and it's fantastic. I am losing my voice, so we're going to go on as long as I can. All right, 6,027 is where we are, but we think it's 6,028. 6,028 is actually when the Jubilee begins. 7 years. Adam, same thing. Adam, the how do you call it? Creation did begin in 4,004. That's why everybody's seeing it, but it began on September the 11th. And 5 days later, on September the 15th, on the Feast of Trumpets, the year changed to 4003 BC. And that's why I have 4003. I do all my calculations from 4003 because it represents the entire year, not 4 days of a year, the entire year. And Adam was in the garden for 7 years. And he said, we have 7 years of bliss. Adam in the garden, we have 7 years. It's symmetrical. It always pattern is prophecy. We have 7 years of tribulation here on earth. It's going to be bad. In the center, we had 123 jubilees from creation to September the 24th, or September the 16th, technically, when Adam was born or created in 2025. And then from from when Adam sinned, same thing, 53 and 70 is 123 jubilees to the end of the tribulation. I contacted somebody. They made a video. They were so absolutely close to what they were talking about. I left them a comment, and the guy's like, man, I'd love to see that timeline. And I gave him Sister Sandy's website. Is it Sister Sandy's website? Yeah, that's Sister Sandy's website. Did she make a website and all of her? Wow, she does a lot. Yeah, that's Sister Sandy's website. Man, I hope I haven't been. Yeah, it is. Somebody would have corrected me by now. I'm sorry, I have the world's worst memory. I literally have, except for numbers. You can't get me on numbers, but you can get me on names and remembering who did what. You can get me on that all day long. But at any rate, and oh, it's down here. I kept telling her, yeah, it's Sister Sandy. Sister Sandy, start putting your name here so I don't do this and embarrass myself and not remember. That's the website I sent this person to. And I said, no, in order for this to be accurate, Jesus had to go to a cross on a Wednesday. And just like the Jubilee count is every 49 years, The year has the same exact count. It is 7 days across and 52 days down. It's 364 days. And actually, if you ask anybody that works in looking at the stars and whatnot, the Earth actually spins 364 times to a distant star. Our day to that distant star is 23 hours and 56 minutes. It's called a sidereal day. Anybody can look it up. But we had to keep a solar noon, so things didn't move around on us. Our seasons didn't fall out of place. And that's why we will say that there's 365 days in a year. Let's see, what do I do? Oh, all right, let me go forward here. Let's see here. Real quick. November 17th, we saw that signing, right? We saw that signing. Now, I made the comment that if we're going to start building up to a rapture, we should start seeing bizarre things. I surmise that we're going to see something since Hanukkah is 8 days. We should start seeing something every 3.5 to 4 days. Well, we just saw something that uh, Steve Fletcher. Steve Fletcher put on at the 6 minute mark of this video. Go and look at Steve Fletcher's site. And at the 6 minute mark, he puts this lady comes on and she's like, I have been studying the Schumann resonance for a long time. And I've never seen this. A menorah actually appeared on the Schumann resonance. She's like, I've never seen this. This is insane. She's like, I don't know what it means. She doesn't know what it means. Excuse me. She doesn't know what it means, but I do. The rapture is going to happen on December the 8th, I think. December the 8th, right here. Hanukkah. But the 1,260 days in order for the Antichrist to go in on second Passover needs to happen by November the 30th. But a week later will be May 7th. Exactly 1 week. Is that right? April, May? Yeah, exactly. I got to sit down and do the math on that again. I don't want to misspeak. But it looks like May 7th, 1 week before Israel turns 78, will match up to, no, that would be December the 8th. That would be 3 weeks. That's only 2 weeks. 2 weeks from there will be the 3rd or 4th of December. So we should start seeing something every 4 days. I don't know what's coming next, but those are two items that I'll tell you when I think the next item we should see. Let me go past this because I have another one. I went back to a conversation I had with Sister Sandy and downloaded it again. Let's see. We know that in Malachi 4, it says Elijah's coming first. And when the Bible begins repeating something over and over and over again, that guy Truth in Christ that found all those numbers in there. I think even Steve Fletcher shared a video of Truth in Christ today. It's incredible what that guy has found. What a gift. I hope I get to sit next to him at the table. What an absolute gift. I hope all of you that are just loving these types of videos and are trying to learn this type of stuff, I'm sitting next to you at the table. It's going to be absolutely incredible. I am so looking forward to this. Time and time again, Elijah truly shall come first in Matthew 17. Mark 9, Elijah must come first. Luke 9, and they feared 8 days and come a voice saying, this is my son. Moses and Elijah, it calls out. All right, John, say ye not there are 4 months. Something happened on November the 17th. That was exactly 4 months from the head of the year of March 17th. What did I just say? Did I say that wrong? November 17th to March 17th is exactly 4 months. And something we saw that signature at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, New York time, which would have been midnight in Israel. And we saw that signature. Trump is effectively turning his back on Israel right now. And I want to clarify something. Strength Ministry made a really good video. He got most good comments, but some negative feedback. When We are supportive of Israel 110%. The people of Israel, the Hebrews. We are not supportive of these Pharisees and these Sadducees that are running things into the ground. We're not on their side. Those people have done a very good job of making us believe that they're all the same. But it's as easy as thinking about this for a second. Would you have done would you go into Venezuela, lie to the American people, and tell them it's because they're shipping drugs to us? Colombia out shipped drugs to us 10 times over what Venezuela ever did. We're not idiots. And they're going in there for the oil. It just so happens Venezuela's got all that oil. Now tell me, how many of you would have made that decision to go in there and wipe a bunch of people out, good or bad, drug dealers or not, get rid of the leader of that country? Again, good or bad, another Pharisee. They're all Pharisees. How many of you would have made that decision? I would say none of you would have done that. You know, we don't have any oil. I guess we're going to have to buy it. Oh, you guys don't know how to pull it out of the ground? How about we partner up? I'll come down there, pull it out of the ground. You'll be rich. We'll get inexpensive oil. It'll be great. No, no, none of that's happening. We're just going to take it because you're drug dealers. I'm tired and am in a mood. So I apologize. Hopefully you guys get the lightheartedness of my comments. Luke 21. And when these things begin to come to pass, and oh my, you listen to Chris over Global Rapture. He's so much better at rattling off all the things, the world events that are going on right now. And each one of them, just one alone by themselves. Sorry. Each one of those in and of itself would be enough for a Christian to look up and to start screaming from the rooftops, watchmen on the wall, to warn everybody that the day is coming. But they're all happening. They're all happening. Crazy things going on in the skies. Wars and rumors of wars. Are you kidding me? Israel has been encompassed all the way around. They've set up the one world monetary system. It's all set up. They're trying to bring us all under one house. In I forget what country it's in. Is it the UAE, where they have all of them on one platform? You can go to this one, you can go to that one, you can go whichever one you want. We're all going to be friends. We aren't going to blow each other up. It's insane what's happening. All right. And I've said this before too, for those of you who think that we're waiting for the last person to be saved, no, we're not. The date is set in stone. Maybe the date God chose is when the last person will be saved. Maybe that's what it is. But we're not waiting. That date is set in stone. It never budged. It never moved. We just don't know when it is. We're trying to figure it out. Don't get me wrong. I have tried to figure it out for years. And we might have all figured it out. It's Hanukkah. But we were just in the wrong year. We don't know. We're just going to keep watching, right? Let me get past all this. What is this? Except those days be shortened. Again, no flesh. Everybody in the tribulation that goes to heaven, the great multitude, dies. So this is either talking about, this right here is either talking about the bride, or it's talking about the Jew that goes into the millennium. This is not talking about the tribulation saints, the sleepy church, or the world that will come to know Christ. It's not talking about them. They don't go to heaven alive. They go dead. They die here. Their body stays here. They appear in heaven. And at the end of 7 years, from what I gather from other people, talking to other people, they get their new bodies at the end of 7 years. And we get them right away. We're there, we're chilling, we're in our mansions, we're having buffets, we're talking. Hey, I haven't seen you, and yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be fantastic when we get there. And so these other people the great multitude we see in seal 6, they all die. Spoiler alert, they don't need to worry about that flesh. God is worrying about either our flesh, our hides, or he's worried about the hides of the Jewish people going in the millennium. Something is shortened somewhere. Do I think it's shortened by 3.5 years? No, I don't. I think the tribulation is 7 years long, but I think that the Jews are taken out of the way somehow and protected, which that might even be talking. This might even be referencing them going to Petra. I don't know. Abomination of desolation, except those days shall be shortened again. We know that we're going to go before. One would think we're going in the Jubilee on March 17th, but we're not. We're going to go before Isaiah 66:7, before her pain came. Before she travailed, before she brought forth, before her pain came, she was delivered of a man child. Who has ever heard of such a thing? Who has seen such a thing? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? This is talking to the bride. All right. John 21:22. Jesus saith unto him, oh, this is about John the Baptist, not John the Baptist, John the Revelator. There is a question as to whether or not John the Revelator is the one that will betray Jesus, and Jesus just off the cuff says something that has no relationship whatsoever to what they're talking about, as he does. But he puts this point in right here. Jesus said unto him, "What if I will that? If I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee?" Could it be we've had a guy walking around for the last 2,000 years alive? I don't know. Why even put this verse in here? What's the point? Not only why put this verse in here, but why put it there? They were concerned that John the Revelator might have been the one that betrays Jesus, but he just out of nowhere makes this comment. Something to think about. Jude 1. This is where I've said before, Moses isn't going to have a specific special resurrection day. Moses is not here yet, but maybe the two witnesses are. Maybe it's Elijah, who went to heaven in his bodily form, did not get Elijah did not get an eternal mortal body, an eternal body yet, because he has to die here. It says he dies. And John the Revelator will appear in heaven. It doesn't say John the Revelator is going to resurrect. I'm curious if that guy's still alive. You know, what if he's here with Elijah right now, kind of hanging out for the first 30 days or 60 days of this 1,260 days, and we just don't hear about it all the way over here. They're to the Jews. They're not to us. They're over there in Israel doing their work. They're not over here with us. And what if it's John and Elijah, and then Moses rises, the dead in Christ rise first, Moses rises, and John rises because we rise. What's left? Elijah and Moses. It's just an idea. I don't know. It made the most sense to me when I read these verses. It makes the most sense to me. The Antichrist is Judas Iscariot. That's the Antichrist. Everybody trying to figure it out. It's Judas Iscariot. He can't show him. He's on the scene, but he's hiding himself until the rapture. Why would he do that? Why would he obey the rules? Why would the Antichrist obey the rules and not come out and perform all these miracles to deceive even us? He can't. It's not possible. He's dead. He's dead, just like Moses is dead. Moses is going to rise, and guess what? Die twice. That verse is not talking to it's appointed on a man but once to die. That verse isn't talking. What did it exclude? It's everybody on the planet except for Moses. Oh, and the three kids that Elijah and Elisha rose. Oh, and the group of people that rose with Jesus, and all the other people that Jesus resurrected, and Lazarus. Except for those, no, nobody has gone to heaven in a glorified body aside from Jesus. Nobody. Jesus is the only one. Maybe, and I heard this argument, and I'm not opposed to the idea that Jesus went to Hades to lead captivity captive, and what he brought forth was 144,000 virgin Jewish males that were killed by King Herod. at the time he was born, 2 years and under, 2 years after he was born. I don't know. We shall see. All right. Next. Two, this, and again, we keep seeing these little hints that we can't ignore. This is the third time I am coming to you in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. There's a moment in time where there'll be 3 of them until the rapture happens. Moses will rise, there'll be 3. Moses gets his earthly body because he's going to die. He gets his earthly body, and then guess what? John goes up to heaven. The Revelator tells us what's happening. You see why we're already there? Do you understand why we're already there? We just don't know it yet, but we're already there. All right. And it was at Jerusalem, the Feast of Dedication, and it was winter. The Feast of Dedication is referring to, remember, the temple was destroyed. 70 years later, it was rebuilt, but it was renovated in from 20 BC to 26 AD. 46 years in renovation. It wasn't completely destroyed. It wasn't completely rebuilt. It was renovated. And this is the year when Jesus began his ministry in 26 AD. 26 AD is when he did it. In 29 AD, the word of the Lord came to John, who was out in the woods, and said, hey, go tell Herod that what he's doing here is messed up. He's shacking up with his brother's wife. Go tell him. He did. John got arrested and got beheaded. And then the next paragraph says, and he baptized Jesus. It's out of order. He didn't baptize Jesus when he had no head. No, he baptized Jesus back here in 26 AD. He lost his head in 29 AD. As a matter of fact, John the Baptist was born when Jesus went to the cross. And Jesus was born when John the Baptist died. John the Baptist was born on March 30th, and John the Baptist died on September the 30th. Jesus was born on September the 30th, and Jesus died on March 30th. They each had a 3.5-year ministry. John the Baptist's ministry was 6 months prior to Jesus's. John the Baptist died 6 months prior to Jesus going to the cross. The story about 2980, everybody is, what's the guy's name? Artaxerxes. I don't recall the guy's name. Everybody's like, well, you see right there, it's 29 AD. That's when he began his ministry. And no, it's not. That's when John the Baptist lost his head. Just because the next paragraph, and the Bible loves doing this because it makes you think. It makes you think. And 29 AD is when he lost his head. All right, let me keep going here. John teaches at the feast. This is John 11. The other one, this one back here was Hanukkah. It was a feast of dedication. This is not the feast that Jesus went down into the midst of. Although, if you'll recall, the feast of Solomon's feast, he had a feast of 7 days, and he called it a dedication to the altar. And then he had the Feast of Tabernacles after that. What they did when they completed the temple in 26 AD, what they did was, it was Hanukkah when they dedicated it. That's when they dedicated it in 26 AD. In Hanukkah, it was 70 days to the very day after Tabernacles. Exactly. And it just so turns out that 1,260 days after that would match the day Elijah ascended. From the midst of the feast, and like I said, we can infer it, but it actually doesn't say it here. Everybody likes saying that, but that's not what it says. This is the Feast of Dedication. This dedication is Hanukkah. But this one here absolutely clearly says that in John 7, we are talking about the Feast of Tabernacles. Now the Jews' Feast of Tabernacles is at hand. The other feast in John 10 is exactly 70 days after this feast, or 75 days after the Day of Atonement. It's exact, perfect A perfect match. Now, the Jews' Feast of Tabernacles was at hand. Go ye up to this feast. I go not up yet unto this feast. Jesus showed up late at the Feast of Tabernacles. Up then, and when he went up to the feast. Now, still, John 7, just the next page. Couldn't fit it all in one screenshot. Still, John 7. Now, about the midst of the feast, we're still talking about tabernacles. This is not, and I'll tell you, I wanted to say the midst of Hanukkah. I really do. And everybody, or a lot of people teach that, but it's not accurate. So I can't say it. It clearly says it's tabernacles. It clearly says he went up in the midst of the Feast of Tabernacles. However, I think we can infer since Solomon out of nowhere, because Leviticus tells us to have a feast for 7 days, and on the great eighth day, Shemini Atzeret, right? But then Solomon just out of nowhere adds 7 days. Why? Because they moved those 7 days, 70 days to what we call now Hanukkah. So could we infer the midst of this? And I find some interesting words that are used at where he says something about the middle courtyard. And I'm like, why are they mentioning middle here? Are we still talking about the midst of the feast? So perhaps the middle of Hanukkah means something to us. All right, let me get into the numbers. Hanukkah, day one, is December the 8th. They will tell you that the flood happened on October the 31st, November the 1st, when we're near the flood date. As soon as that date passes, they will skip over a bunch of days to make Hanukkah land on December the 14th, which is 6 days away from this. How is it that Heshvan 17 was on November the 1st just a little while ago, and then now all of a sudden it's not? It's very convenient that they change it. Frustrating for me. It shouldn't bother you. It's not a salvational issue, but it's still important to note that Hanukkah always lands on December the 8th. It never. I hope I don't start getting a scratchy throat. Anyway, let me try to get through this. Sorry. I'm like I said, I didn't sleep last night. I'm tired, and I really want to get this out because I think that what's the 23rd? I think we're going to see something tomorrow afternoon, evening, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. I think we're going to see something huge, and I just want to make sure that if that's something huge does happen, and again, all these things keep landing on this timeline. They don't land on their timelines. They land on this one. All right, Hanukkah, day one, December the 8th. If you add 1,260 days, you will come to Sivan 6, which is May 21st. And if you'll go, you can go Google it. It actually says May 20th, but that's because they're using the moon. There'll be a day off by this time. But Sivan 6, that's the day Enoch ascends. That's in extra biblical books. Can I prove it? No, I can't. But mathematically, I can because I have racked my brain out literally for years trying to figure out how were they all wrong? The historians and the historical books, were they all completely wrong in tying Enoch with Hanukkah? Because if he rises on May 21st, this has even 6 months out, it doesn't mean anything. It means absolutely nothing, even 6 months out. How do we tie these two together? It just did it by itself when I realized that from Hanukkah's first day, December the 8th, 1,260 days, this is the day Enoch ascends. It ties it together perfectly because it ties it to the 1,260 days of the two witnesses. But it's not dictating that the two witnesses start here. It could be November the 30th, a week earlier, because May 14th is when Israel turns. And maybe the Antichrist goes in on the day Israel turns 78. I don't know. But let's keep going here. See where this leads us. All right. In the midst of Hanukkah is when the Bible records the flood ended. It started on October the 31st, November the 1st. It ended 40 days later. That 40 days later is December the 12th. December the 12th is the middle of Hanukkah. The day of the flood ends, December the 12th. That's the exact middle of Hanukkah, the midst. And if I go forward from there, 1,260 days, something else crazy happens. I always wondered why Jesus didn't ascend. Why didn't you have Enoch ascend on the same day as Jesus? And another thing that broke my brain, because these things for me must be symmetrical or they make no sense. I put them on the timeline. I don't know why it's there, but Jesus actually ascends on Sivan 10 on May 25th. That's the day Jesus ascends. And it is exactly 1,260 days from the center or the midst. The reason I point this out is because if you read Revelation, it doesn't mention 1,260 once. It mentions it a bunch of times, 42 months, 1,260, 1,290. It has all these different mentions of 3.5. It has all these different mentions, and you have to, they're not all there because it's talking about one instance. They're all there because it's talking about multiple things that make sense to that number. All right. Now, the last day of Hanukkah is December the 16th. I believe the world is saying that Hanukkah is on December the 14th. They're wrong by 6 days. The last day of Hanukkah just so happens to be that Adam was removed from the garden. Hanukkah ends at sunset on December the 15th. The fourth month and first day is December the 16th. This is the day Adam was removed from the garden. If I add 1,260 days to that, it comes to Sivan 14, May 29th. May 29th is the first Pentecost. This is the Pentecost to the bride. The book of Acts describes how to count them. And it took me years to figure out what it was saying and how to do it. And when I finally figured it out, I realized that the first Pentecost to the bride lands on May 29th. Well, we passed that. I had a high watch date on that day when we passed it in 2020, what we call 2025. And I'm like, how does it? Everybody is saying it's Pentecost. How about it is Jesus' Ascension Day? And how about it is the Pentecost, but it's alluding to it through a day count? May 29th, Sivan 14, first Pentecost. All right, where are we going after this? Remember, I told the story last time of Jesus leaves the 99. Those are the tribulation saints. Those are the lukewarm Christians. That's the world that doesn't believe. That's everybody else. But he goes off and gets the one. The one is the bride. That's us. That's the rapture of the bride. He comes back carrying that lamb on his shoulders. 99 represents the leaving them behind. What do you suppose the 99 could mean? So I just said, I don't know. Let's do a day count from Hanukkah, December the 8th, 2025, which is actually 2024. Let's add 99 days, and it lands on Rosh Hashanah, March 17th. The Jubilee begins. I think we're going home 99 days early. I think he's leaving them behind, the 99 behind, and taking us. I think that's why December the 8th keeps jumping up mathematically. I've had other dates that jumped up quite high, and I said, I've never had anything happen like this. But I've never had anything happen like this. This is huge. December the 8th means something very big. Is it the rapture? I think so, but maybe it's some big event that's going to take place. All right. Now we have a verse in the Bible that says, the how do you call the Prince of Persia held me up for 21 days or 120 days, and I just did the math from the date that MBS met with Trump and they signed those papers in secret, turning their backs on Israel. They did that on November the 17th at 5 p.m. You add 21 days to that, and it comes to December the 8th. Everything is coming to December the 8th. Okay? So, very interesting there. Now, I just did the overall math from November the 17th to the Jubilee, starting on March 17th, Rosh Hashanah, from the signing, 99, and those 21 days is 120 days. 99 plus 21 is 120. That is the 4 months the Bible is talking about. Look up. It didn't say look up your rapture. He says look up. It's ready already. It didn't say that's the moment you're going. He just said it's time. I think we're going 21. I think the prince, I know it's not Persia, but the discussion or the problem is with Persia. Everybody's involved. The problem is Israel and everyone else. And the problem is Israel and Persia. So the angel's being held up because there's an issue going on with Israel, but he blamed Persia. At any rate, 9921, 120 days, exactly when they signed those papers, 4 months later, begins the Jubilee. But we're going to leave 99 days early because he's going to leave them behind 99 days early, is what I think. Oh, there it is. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 120 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief prince, came to help me. And when is this for? Now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people in the latter days. For yet the vision is for many days. This is for now. This vision was for now. This is happening right now as we speak. Here's the calendar. All right, real quick. Hopefully you can see this. Tabernacles is right here. Jesus is born the night of September the 29th, becoming September the 30th. And 70 days later from Tabernacles is Hanukkah. Those 70 days, I think, represent the 7 days that Solomon put on from Tishri 8 to Tishri 15, which is Tabernacles, September the 22nd to September the 30th. Those 7 days, we don't see anything anywhere for Tishri 8 or September the 22nd. What we do see from trumpets is 10 days. 10 days after trumpets is atonement, and 5 days after atonement is tabernacles. That's what we do see. 70 days. I think those 7 days right here were moved over here. 70 days later is Hanukkah. And then halfway through Hanukkah, because Hanukkah's right here, I found so much math to December the 8th the other day. Oh, yeah, let me zoom in here. So MBS, the prince, he's a prince. They signed this agreement on November the 17th at 5 p.m. I'm about to show you something that happened here on November the 21st at 8 p.m., which represents halfway through. We're going to go 1, 2, 3 more days, 7 days in total. We're going to come here to November the 24th at sunset. I think we're going to see something happen on November the 24th at sunset as an indicator that we might be looking at a rapture event on December the 8th. Could it happen a week early and we hang out for a week and December the 8th? I don't know how that works. I've heard some people teach that there's, and they found it. I haven't. I don't study that type of stuff, but it seems reasonable because we always see the 7 day wait, like with he sits in the ark door waiting for 7 days. We have so many other examples of waiting 7 days before anything happens. So could it be December the 1st? And which, by the way, December the 1st is 1,260 days from when Israel turned 78. All of this must transpire before Israel turns 78. Israel cannot be 78 years old. That's why we're up against the time crunch. We're right up against the very end here. So Hanukkah, I expect to see something here on November the 24th here. What's the date today? Oh, that's tomorrow. Okay, yeah, so tomorrow. And then halfway through, somewhere about here, 27th, 28th, we'll see something else. And then December the 1st, maybe the rapture, maybe another event. And then halfway through, December the 5th, we'll see some, and then a rapture on Hanukkah. And then we wait 7 days to the last day of Hanukkah. We don't go in, though, until we don't go into the garden until Adam's removed on Tevet 1, December the 16th. That actually starts over here at sunset right here, the last day of Hanukkah, which is the third Sabbath of time. Oh, sorry. I have an earache too. My left ear is killing me. Anyway, so last day of Hanukkah at sunset, and then Adam is removed from the garden. Is this when we're at sunset here, actually going to heaven? Is there some kind of 7 day? Do we wait in a glory cloud? Are we changed? I don't think we're going to be walking around our glorified bodies, but I don't know how all that works. But I keep seeing the seven, is all I'm saying. Other people have taught on it. I do keep seeing the seven, and we keep seeing this 7 day stuff keep coming up, going into the ark, and then the flood began. By the way, that channel said, I don't know exactly when Methuselah died. He died here. This is the day Methuselah died. Methuselah died on Heshvan 10, October the 25th. Noah buries him and gets into the ark with all the animals. All of this done on October the 25th. And he sits in that ark, and the flood begins, and God shuts the door a week later. Okay, now, 7 days. Jesus is conceived. John leaps in the womb on the 8th day. I can name you so many 8 days. Tabernacles. Jesus is born. The day Israel was attacked on October the 7th, Jesus is named and circumcised. Oh, I remember what his video was about. He was talking about creation, and he could not understand why the Bible goes back and repeats the 6th day of creation in Genesis 2. And I said, it's because he's not done yet. Creation is over, but he's making stuff now. There's a distinct difference. If you go in and read Genesis 1, you'll see where God creates, and then you'll see where God makes. When he makes, he's making something from something he's already created. Everything that we see, angels, the earth, space, the vastness of space, you think God is huge? God is bigger than the creation that he built, and we can't even see to the edge of it. And we've surmised it's trillions and trillions and trillions of galaxies out there. So uh, you just have no idea the God we serve that hung on that cross, how much he loved us. He didn't have to do any of this. He could have wiped us out, flick of a finger, wiped us out, and started over again. Why put up with all this? You know why? Number one, he loved us, even though we didn't love him. Number two, he wants a group of people. He has angels that worship him. Why do they worship him? Because he created them. They have no idea what it means to choose him, though. They have no choice. They were created to do that. But I bet you it feels, if I were to tell my kids, I want this for Christmas, and then I open it and I get this, it's not as great as if I'm like, I don't know, I don't care, get me what you want. And then I open it, I'm like, whoa, I did not expect. This is fantastic. Wow, this is great. What a surprise. That's what God wants. He has, I don't want to call it fake, because I really have to live with these angels for all eternity. I don't want to call it fake, but it's not as heartfelt of a worship as ours will be. They were born in heaven. They know what it looks like. They've been there for 6,000 years. We're going to go there and go, wow, wow. And every time you do that, it's a blessing to God. And we're going to be there because we want to be there. We're going to be there because in this degenerated state that we're in, we still chose him. Through all this, we still chose him. Just like God said about Job, he loves me because that's why I give him all that stuff, because he loves me. He's like, yeah, right. Don't take all that stuff away and let's see if he still loves you. And he did. He took it all away. He's talking about us. He's talking about us. He took it all away. That's what happened to Adam. Adam had it all, but he took it all away. And Adam still loved God. We still love God. We've never seen him. We live in misery, in pain, tiredness, hunger, you name it. We're all going through it, but we still love him. And we still want to go there to be with him because he's the place to be. But anyway, Genesis 2 begins talking about the creation of man all over again. No reason to, but this is the point where God wants us to start. Day 7, God makes the garden. Wait a minute. I thought he rested. No, he made the garden. He didn't create the garden. He made it from stuff that was created. You see the difference. He spent 6 days of creation, and on the 7th day, he rested from his creation. After the creation, he made the garden. After the creation, on day 4, he tells Adam, don't eat of this tree. I'm warning you. Eve's not in the picture yet. Adam is created of the dirt outside of the garden. Day 5, he's naming all the animals. They're having a good time. He's naming all the stars. Adam's IQ is higher than any person on the face of the earth. The guy sits 15 feet tall. The guy has it all. He's got it all. And yet, what happens? On day 6, God puts Adam to sleep. He did not create Eve. He had created Eve in Adam back on the 6th day of creation. What he did was make Eve. He made Eve in the garden, which he installed after he created Adam on the 6th day. He made Eve on the 6th day of time. He created time here on day 4. And I told the guy, I said, if creation began on a Sunday, and if every week has 7 days and 52 weeks, and creation began on a Sunday, right there, go up to the top, it's a Sunday. That means mathematically, a 364-day year, Jesus had to, without question, go to the ark. No, go on, Tick. Trying to get into my cup. Give me her cooties. You'll get mine. You'll get sick. You don't want this mess. Okay, March 30th, without a doubt. Well, Nissan 14, as it were. Wednesday, he went to the cross on a Wednesday, without a doubt. There's no, it's not that I want him to be there. It's not that I twisted this around to make him be there. No, Monday through Friday. The week starts. I put the week here so you would understand better. I didn't start it with Sunday. I started it with the first day of the year, Rosh Hashanah, and I started it with trumpets right here. And if you say, well, no, trumpets began creation, I'd love to see that timeline, because Jesus will not go to the cross on a Wednesday if you start creation on a Sunday right here, September the 15th. You can name it whatever you want. You can name it November the 12th. I don't care what you name it, but you have to follow through with your Hebrew dates. Tishri 1 has to be whatever you call it. You want to call it the first day of creation? Build this timeline. Build it. You can't get on here and say this stuff to people unless you're willing to build it. 364 days right there. There are kasseys. People like, well, a kassey is this and that. Oops. So let me show you what a kassey is. There are 4 of them. There's one. That's a kassey. It's a Sabbath that lands on a Wednesday. It's a hidden day. It's the day Jesus went to the cross, on a Wednesday. There's another kassey. Where'd it go? It's when it's the hidden day. The 4th day of creation, Sivan 31, the 4th day of creation is a kassey. It's a hidden day. It's a day where God created time. So therefore, that's why Thursday is all these things. Jesus was born on a Thursday. Jesus was named and circumcised on a Thursday. Jesus went to the cross on a Wednesday. Jesus rose on a Sunday. None of this math will work if even one day is moved out of place. Sorry, excuse me. I'm having a rough time. All right, let me keep going. At any rate, why do I think it's Hanukkah? I'm sweating. Whew, I got to get through this. All right, Hanukkah, because all of the math is working to December the 8th. There's even more. I don't know if I took pictures. Let me see if I took pictures, because I can't remember. 2 Corinthians 7. I mentioned that he mentions the middle of the court, and then he kept the dedication, Feast of Dedication. At this point here in 2 Chronicles 7, I am unclear if it's speaking to how do you say, to tabernacles, or if it's speaking to Hanukkah. It gets convoluted after a moment, unless it actually says tabernacles. I don't know. This doesn't actually say, well, it says, and also Solomon kept this on tabernacles. This said he kept the dedication of the altar 7 days. Yeah, this was tabernacles. So yeah, the dedication at this point here, they never did it again. And I think they moved these 7 days to what we call now Hanukkah. This guy right here, Naveen Joe, go subscribe to his channel. Not even kidding you. Man, this guy is a mathematician. And now he's not given a date, but he's absolutely proving mathematically that 2025 is the year of the rapture. Now, I know it's 2024, but 99.9% of this planet thinks that we are in 2025. So God obviously understood that. That's why Psalms 124 we thought was the rapture actually still is, because it's Psalms 124, 2024. So, but please go watch it. Naveen Joe, what a guy. What a great guy. He's very well spoken, and he absolutely loves what the Lord is showing him with his math. It's fantastic to watch him. All right. I don't I've spoken with Brenda. They gave me some magazines, but I didn't want to put her last name or her picture up there because I'm not sure. But she posted this today, and this is where I this is what I was talking about with Steve Fletcher. And if you go watch Steve Fletcher's video at the 6 minute mark, he puts this lady on there, and this is what Brenda's talking about. I saw this last night. Wow, is this a mystery code from heaven? This just showed up on the Casina Italian Schumann residence charge. Casina. I've never seen anything like it. I really do believe it is a coded message from Jesus, a Jewish menorah. Now, Kevin Spinebreaker had a dream with Mangetsu, and I'm beginning to wonder if this isn't what God was pointing him to. With this here. What an extraordinary days we're living in. Who is ever, and I guess watchwoman Lisa, is she from Britain? I don't know. I think that I believe if I recall correctly, um, Chris from Global Rapture Watchers is always talking about this person, I believe. But look at that. It's a menorah. It hit just perfectly to make a menorah. And you should hear the woman. This happened on November the 21st. By the time we know about it, it's 8 o'clock at night. I really don't know what time it happened. Be very curious to know. But look at this menorah popped up. I guess it's on 3 different wavelengths. I don't know how this works, but it's amazing that it pops up like it does. And she's like, she didn't know what it meant. I don't know if she's a Christian or not. Maybe she is. I don't know. Sorry. I'm almost out. But at any rate, look at that. December the 8th. That's December the 8th. I think they said it happened on November the 21st. Again, I don't know what time. All right. Oh, this is something else that I noticed. Somebody made mention. Was it Dr. Barry? Somebody made mention about 75 days. Now, my timeline is static. The Gregorian timeline and the Julian timeline, for that matter, are static. They don't change. So December the 8th is always Hanukkah. And it's always 75 days off, all the way up through September the 23rd, then becomes 76 days off because of a 365-day year as opposed to a 364-day year. I had to put the day somewhere. So I put it on September the 23rd. But 75 days from Hanukkah, if you subtract the 75 days from Hanukkah, it lands on September the 24th, 23rd. What is that? That is atonement. That is the Revelation 12 sign. 75 matches nicely. Now, from Hanukkah, December the 8th, and you subtract 70 days. Remember, I told you it's 70 days apart. Solomon had those extra 7 days prior to Tabernacles. I believe he moved it 70 days. And if you subtract 70 from Hanukkah, December the 8th, you land on September the 29th. At sunset becomes Jesus's birthday. It becomes Tabernacles. Very interesting how all the numbers are lining up. Okay, I am done. All right, all the pictures are through. I don't know if I yelled too loud. I can't hear myself. My left ear's in a lot of pain. So I'm gonna go inside. I do have to work tomorrow again. I drag at work. I'm like, but I do it. I still do it. So I have to keep working at it. But um, I don't know what Kevin's talking about. Oh, anyway, so have a wonderful day. Keep looking up. The rapture could. Maybe I'm wrong. The rapture could happen now. It doesn't have to wait till December the 8th. There's no boxes anybody's getting put in. It's just a mathematical equation. Mathematically, December the 8th is a very viable date, but so is November the 30th, December the 1st. That's very viable as well. And so is every 84 hours from the 21st of November. For 3 days after that, we'll be on the 26th, 27th. So we're right, or no, 21st, 3 days. Yeah, tomorrow. I keep forgetting that. It's tomorrow at some point we might see an event. I don't know what it'll be, but if we turn out to be correct that the rapture's that close, things will begin to escalate and it won't slow down. It'll escalate more and more and more until we're just standing there going, okay, it's really happening. So, all right, we will chat with you all again later. I'm probably going to hate watching this video. I know I'm going to hate watching this video. All right. We'll chat with you all again later.